Well, it's such a pleasure to speak to you both today. I saw the film last week, blown away by it. And I wanted to start by asking you, Jeffrey, what was it like bringing a grounded character like Jim Gordon into this world of heroes and villains, particularly in what was one of my favorite scenes with you, Batman, and the Penguin?
Uh, well, I think the word grounded really is what we were going for, and is what attracted me to Matt's vision on reading the script. What's remarkable, I think, about our film is that, and very gratifying to have been a part of, is that the script um, is really fully realized on the screen. Matt had a very specific vision and tone that he wanted to realize, and we did it. And it really was that. It was grounded, it was authentic, it was tangible. And so for Gordon, still a lieutenant, we're in year two of Batman's story. He is literally boots on the ground in that he's, still a cop in the street, in that partnership with Batman, who we celebrate as the world's greatest detective, going back to the origin of his character in the comics, really flourishes under this this construct that Matt's created. So it was really activating for me, and I think we see Gordon and Batman, their partnership, in a way that perhaps we haven't in previous versions of the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paul, in contrast, you really get to unleash this madness and violence with the Riddler. So I was curious, what's it like getting into the mindset of a character like that to bring him to life here?
Uh, well, Matt laid out a beautiful script, but a great challenge as well. And the first conversation him and I had was about hero and villain and the two sides of trauma. And so I think that was really the seed from which everything else grew. And you can't just jump to the villain part or the right or the sort of madness. So I think taking it from there and just kind of slowly building it, his past to page one and how that gets you there, and who he was without the mask, and what the mask allows him to be.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, you're both part of these very intense scenes with Robert Pattinson's Batman. And I'm curious for you as performers, obviously you're invested in your own characters, but what's it like when Robert walks on set in that iconic cape and cowl? And how does it really change the dynamic for you as performers?
Well, because we are really um, because Matt's Gotham is tangible, is organic, is something that seems familiar to us. Likewise, Robert in the bat suit becomes organic as well, and we ask questions early on, I think, about who is he, why is he, isn't that strange? Yes, but we acknowledge that and we move on. And so, because we've answered those questions, I think it just raises the authenticity of his character, and so it just becomes a Batman movie, but one that feels real, feels possible in a way that's very exciting. And so, we just take it from there, and live live our lives in Gotham, try to survive it all.
And I get, obviously, Paul, you have a costume in the film, but I guess as well that plays into the dynamic you had with Robert as Batman to some extent.
Well, you've seen the film. I was waiting to see Robert for a long time, so it felt pretty good when I did get to see him out the window there. I loved that moment. And sure, I mean, I looked at a picture of his Batman every day.
And of course, this is Jeffrey. This is very specifically a year two story. But how much did you talk to Matt and Robert about what Batman and Jim Gordon's relationship really looked like in year one that then informed what you were doing in this film?
Yeah, we didn't delve down, too deeply into the details of that, but we just understood, or came to a common understanding, that we're on the ground floor. that this may be within our film the first time that they're seen together in public, that they've kind of, been taking one another into view from afar, but recognizing out of this sense of desperation, out of this sense of a decaying Gotham, that there's a utility in partnership there, because it's a place that's devoid of trust and credibility among those who should be credible. And so Gordon, I think, is more in need of Batman than perhaps Batman is of Gordon. But what he sees in him is a kind of is an integrity and a type of honor. And so I'm not sure if well, clearly the trust is still building. And that was very exciting too, because ours isn't an origin story for Batman, but it's an origin story for his emergence, but certainly not going back to the death of the parents and all of these things that we've kind of seen done before.
Yeah, and just one very final quick question. Obviously, Paul, you're separated by glass with Batman, but Jeffrey, what's it like taking a punch from Batman?
If you gotta take a punch, I guess you take one from Batman, but I'm still recovering a little bit, as you can clearly hear from my answers today. I may be suffering a little punch drunkenness this morning. I'll use that as an excuse.
Well, guys, such a pleasure to speak to you. This film's a masterpiece, and you're just both phenomenal. So thank you so much for your time. It's amazing to speak to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.